spangled banner yet wave, the land of the free and the home of the brave. Those words are awesome because for some, that night was a nightmare. We can sing that song now because we know the outcome, but for many it was a nightmare. Reminded me when the Eagles played the Giants. It was a nightmare. But for the Giants, it was a dream. I'm trying to get my mind around cheering for them in the Super Bowl. Amen. But like any good football season and in any season in life, there are many who have nightmares. There are many who are cheering for a win. When the win comes, there are many expectations, but not everybody gets invited to the meeting. And so it was the case as we watched our flag flying there, that there were slaves and women and peoples whose dreams were still nightmares. We heard speeches of individual liberty and revolution and this new experiment, and some who were brought here as slaves thought this is our chance. That if we could join in this war, that then we would be free. Women thought surely after the revolution, we would be treated as equal. We would have the right to vote. I mean, when you read the Independence or the Bill of Rights and the Constitution, there was a hope that the nightmares for all of us were over. But for some, we had to tarry longer. But I'm glad to announce our colors don't run. Red is still red, white is still white, and blue is still blue. Every time I leave this country and I come home, I am so happy to be home. I can say proudly, I'm proud to be an American. Every year we come to celebrate the dream of Dr. Martin Luther King as if it's something separate and different and apart from the American dream. I hope this morning that you would acknowledge with me that Martin Luther King simply was an American who dreamed like everyone else dreamed. Dr. Martin Luther King, what was special about him is that he also heard bombs bursting, churches being burned, and he still saw the flag flying there. And I suspect that flag gave him hope and a belief that the Constitution on which we stand, the Republic for which we stand, I think that gave him confidence that if he could make it to Washington, D.C., to give a message to people whose blood runs red, white, and blue, that they would hear the message, they would hear the dream, and it would resonate not because it was his dream, but it would resonate because it is the American dream. The challenge for us is to ask ourselves the question, what can we see by the dawn's early light? Every day is a new dawn. Been talking to our mayor, and every morning I look at the Whippany River. And I'm encouraged because I believe that the county can come together to do something about the flooding in what's called the Hollow. I'm still encouraged because every morning I'm convinced that we can build even more affordable housing. I'm encouraged because I believe by the dawn's early light and by the flag whose colors never run, that the best is still yet to come. I'm convinced by the dawn's early light that many of the people of this community who had to leave because of the cost of housing and what seems to be discrimination, but we don't want to call it that, I believe that we can do something different. I believe by the dawn's early light that we should have all of our children doing well on tests and academics. I'm not convinced that Black and Latino children should consistently score beneath the radar. I'm not convinced that the only option is community college. I'm convinced that by the dawn's early light that we might have more acceptance letters from Harvard and Princeton and Howard and Morehouse. I'm not convinced that grandchildren and children can no longer live in Morris County and be here to care for their parents because there's insufficient affordable housing. I'm not convinced. I believe we can do better. I believe God has blessed Morris County to be one of the richest counties in the world. I believe God has blessed us to have some of the very smartest people and some of the biggest hearted people. The challenge is, do we approve of the dream? Or are we still rejecting it? Do we still question what it means to be American? I'm convinced that when the best people get in the room and God shows up, that the best is yet to come. I challenge you to approve